All India Management Students Convention 2023 on the theme Innovate for a Responsible Tomorrow. So very soon we will be commencing with the proceedings. I'll request all the students coming now to please occupy these rows which are vacant right from the front. Please don't go behind. So the dignitaries will all be on the stage shortly, and meanwhile let me give you a few reminders and make some announcements. We request all the delegates to switch off your mobile phones and other electronic gadgets. To view the profile of the speakers, if you look at the schedule that we have given you, there is a QR code given there. Please scan and you'll be able to see the fantastic profiles of all the speakers along with their photographs, and a detailed profile is given there. That sheet which is given to you, the schedule, is a very, very valuable one. Don't lose it. I'll tell you what are the other things that are there on that sheet. So MMA is also very active on social media, as you're all aware. So please visit the MMA website and also post your questions if there are any, either through the website or you could scan the QR code that's once again given on that. There are 4 QR codes given on that schedule. Please have a look at them, and then you can make use of them as it's appropriate. So MMA also reaches out through our YouTube channel and so many other social media channels, and also the voice of MMA radio. You can pass it on to your colleagues and other students who are not been fortunate enough to make it today here. So this convention is also webcast live on liveibc.com once again, which is there given in that. Please pass it on to your colleagues. There are question slips in your delegate kit for those who would like to write a question and give it to us. But there is also once again a QR code scanner which is there to give us your questions as well. So our team which is here, they will receive the questions and they will pass it on to me, and I will pass it on to the guest speakers. Besides that, of course, you're aware that before leaving the hall this evening, we all request you to give us your feedback, valuable feedback. Once again, there is a scanner given in that. Just click on that scanner and give your valuable feedback to us. Students, may I request you all to come to the front? Please occupy the seats which are vacant from the front. Yeah. So let's leave the back benches to those who are coming late. We have arranged a special buffet lunch just outside the auditorium during the lunch time. Please display your delegate card. There are no coupons, not required this time. So just display your delegate badge at the counters. There are enough counters to serve you lunch and get your lunch. There is enough time that's also given to you today for the lunch. Yeah. Curtain riser. Students at yeah.
22nd MMA All India Management Students Convention 2023. Innovate for a Responsible Tomorrow. Madras Management Association MMA was established in 1956 with the objective of promoting management education, training and development activities in this part of the country. The vision of MMA is to be the fountainhead of the world-class management excellence in India. With over 8,000 corporate houses, professionals, academics and executives as members, MMA fosters and nurtures management expertise by combing Indian ethos with global management thoughts and practices. Every year, MMA organizes about 750 executive development activities, including seminars for top management. Over 59,000 executives and entrepreneurs have participated in MMA's regular events. With the same zeal of promoting management expertise of business professionals, MMA also molds future managers with its constant innovative programs tailor-made for students. MMA All India Management Students Convention. Management students are the future managers of India, on whom lies the responsibility of realizing the prosperity of India's dreams. MMA has been spearheading this movement and dream for practicing managers and management students. MMA launched its first All India Management Students Convention on the theme Transformation from Managers to Leaders in 2002. The Students' Convention has evolved and grown to be considered to be one of the landmark events for the year for management students in the country. This is a one-of-its-kind convention that showcases the untapped management talent of students to industry and provides a forum for institutes to benchmark themselves against the best. MMA Management Students Convention also provides an opportunity to the students to learn from practicing management professionals and thought leaders. 22nd MMA All India Management Students Convention 2023. Innovate for a responsible tomorrow.
Well, once again, a very hearty welcome to all the participants who have assembled here and all those who have joined us online today at this 22nd MMA All India Management Students Convention on the theme, Innovate to a Better Responsible Tomorrow. I call upon the dignitaries to take their place on the dais. Mr. K. Mahalingam, President MMA, Mr. P. Ilango, Convention Chairman, Ms. Apurva Mitra, Partner ESG KPMG India, Mr. K.V. Ramani, a Founder and Chancellor Sai University, and Group Captain R. Vijay Kumar, Vishish Seva Medal, Executive Director MMA. Students, let's welcome them with a round of applause. This is the inaugural session of the 22nd MMA All India Management Student Convention 2023. To begin the event, like always, we would invoke the blessings of the Almighty. May I request Ms. Padmaja to render the invocation song. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you to rise for the invocation song.
அம்மா அருள் புரி அடைக்கலம் நீ அம்மா அருள் புரி அடைக்கலம் நீ மாங்காடு தனில் அமர்ந்த மங்களவல்லியே மனமிறங்கி எம்மை வாழ்த்தி அருள்வாய் அம்மா அம்மா அருள் புரி அடைக்கலம் நீ நீங்காத துயர்களையே நீங்கிட செய்தாயே ஓம்கார ரூபினியே எந்தன் சிவநாயகியே கண் கண்ட தெய்வமேன கருணையின் வடிவமேன கண் கண்ட தெய்வமேன கருணையின் வடிவமேன காமாட்சி கல்தல் தாய் நீ எந்தனுக்கும் தாய் அல்லவோ காமாட்சி கல்தன் தாய் நீ எந்தனுக்கும் தாய் அல்லவோ அம்மா அருள் புரி அடைக்கலம் நீ அம்மா அம்மா அம்மா.
Please continue standing for our Tamil Thai Vartha. Thank you. Please take your seats. Thank you, Ms. Padmaja. May I request the dignitaries to present a bouquet to Ms. Padmaja and honor her. Please. Thank you. Students, please settle down fast. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. K. Mahalingam is President MMA and is also the Director, Partner, TSM Group of Companies. May I have his AV, please?
Mr. K. Mahalingam is the President, MMA and Partner Director, TSM Group of Companies. He is the driving force behind TS Mahalingam and Sons, turning it into one of South India's well-respected automobile aftermarket brands. He pioneered the distribution of third-party loans in partnership with Citibank and co-developed brands like Autoline, Prop Shop and Shelters. He is the President of REC Alumni Association, President IIM Calcutta Alumni Chennai and member Chennai Angels Executive Committee. He is an active angel investor, mentoring budding entrepreneurs and fostering the ecosystem.
I now invite Mr. Mahalingam to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, students, boys and girls. I could sense the energy and the youthfulness as I was in the lift with around 15 to 20 girl students from a nearby college. What an amazing feeling, what amazing energy. It's truly energizing to be in the midst of management students, the best and brightest in the country. Unfortunately, I think thanks to the traffic, all of you could not be here. From what I understand, I'm group captain. We had around 1,500 requests for 950 participants. This capacity of the auditorium is only 950. On behalf of the Madras Management Station, I wish to welcome distinguished speakers, guests from management institutes, invitees, past presidents, delegates from corporates, management students, and my colleagues from the management committee. Members of the media, viewers who are watching this on virtual convention from all over India, listening to the radio through Voice of MMA. So many medium through which we reach you and you can reach us. It's cliched and customary to say that students in general and management students in specific are the future of any nation. Of course they are. But I would like to believe that your generation of students is very different and very unique and very special. And I have reasons to say that. I'm assuming that all of you were born in the late 90s or early 2000s. So you were born as the internet was beginning to grow. Mobile telephony in India is growing rapidly. And along with you, both the internet evolved and mobile telephony grew. Smartphones became the order of the day. What does it mean for you, what it meant for you, and what it doesn't mean for you in the future. Along with other technological advancements, the advancements of the internet and mobile telephony has placed a lot of power literally in your hands. You can access information at the click of a button. You can enrich your knowledge by accessing multiple sources of knowledge through multiple websites, podcasts, experiences, universities which offer virtual sessions, etc. So you've been fortunate to be able to access knowledge and information at will and gain more power to your knowledge. Along with this, your ability to connect with people has been amplified more than ever before. I don't think any generation before you had such access to information, such access to enriching knowledge, and such access to build networks of people. You're very fortunate. I could literally say you have the world at your fingertips. Along these positive developments, there were some concerns. As the world expanded, population grew, and the usage of vehicles and industry happened, the world started facing huge environmental crisis. There were devastating floods, soaring temperatures, unseasonal rains, and stuff like that. At Madras Management Station, we normally have a theme for the students' convention. So, in consultation with our convention chairman, Mr. Ilango, and collaboration with the knowledge partner KPMG, the convention theme selected this year's Innovate for a Responsible Tomorrow. As I mentioned, as the environment changes, it impacts business also. It's important as you innovate in technology and other stuff, we have to do it responsibly. This theme underscores the importance of innovation in sharing a more responsible and sustainable future. I would like take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to Ms. Apurva Mitra, partner ESG at KPMG India. Understand, madam, you took a really red-eyed flight this morning to reach here. Really nice of you and considerate of you to take so much trouble. It makes us feel very special and honored, Ms. Mitra. Thank you so much for doing this for us. We are eagerly looking forward to hearing a perspective on this crucial and globally discussed theme. Thank you for joining us on this momentous occasion, madam. I'm sure your expertise will add a lot of knowledge to the students assembled today. I also thank Mr. K.V. Ramani, founder and chancellor of Sai University, for kindly agreeing to deliver the inaugural address, which the students are easily looking forward to. Mr. Ramani, I know for many years, and after transforming the IT industry and being a pioneer there, is right now transforming the way education is delivered to students. Thank you, Mr. Ramani. We're really privileged and honored to have you here, sir. As you may be aware, MMA is the largest affiliate association of All India Management Association in the country and has been adjudged as the best management association in India by IMA for 14 times, including the year 2022-23. The awards function happened last week, and we are really proud at MMA to say that we're the best local management association for 14 years in a row. As regards the theme of today's convention, innovation for a responsible tomorrow is an imperative like never before. ESG, which outlines a set of standards for company operations that values social consequences, environmentalism, and transparency, is non-negotiable and seen as one of the primary objectives in business, which is carefully weighed in by the investors to measure the risk they'd be assuming by associating themselves with a particular business entity. This also serves as an indicator of morality for building partnerships with all stakeholders. The lesson is that as businesses grow, we have to grow responsibly. And it's just not for the sake of business, because the world views us, countries view us. I'm sure we have lined up various special sessions for you from thought leaders and experts. I'm sure this will be of great value to you. I can assure that the student convention would be highly informative and beneficial to all students. You're going to learn a lot, listen a lot from experts, learn a lot, and hopefully absorb it. Mr. P. Ilango, Convention Chairman, will further brief you on the overview of the convention. As I mentioned earlier, almost 1,400 people applied to register to be in the convention. I think we should be having 950 approximately present here. And we are expecting more than 20,000 to attend this convention online. My final submission to you is that, as I mentioned, the world is at your fingertips. Leverage technology, amplify your networks and social networks for positive impact. Transform yourself, transform businesses, transform the way you do businesses, and transform the world. I finally compliment Mr. Ilango, Chairman of MMA Students Convention Committee, and Group Captain Vijay Kumar, Executive Director MMA, for all the efforts in making this invention such a fascinating reality. I'm sure, as I said, go ahead and transform the world. Have a great convention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahalingam, for setting the context. Mr. P. Ilango is the MD, Hindustan Oil Exploration Private Limited, and he is also the convention chair this year. May I have his AV, please?
Mr. P. Ilango, Managing Director, Hindustan Oil Exploration Company Limited, is a leader in the Indian oil and gas industry. He was the Chief Executive Officer and whole-time Director of Kane India Limited and a finalist of the Platts Asia CEO of the Year Award 2013. In his career spanning over 35 years in the upstream oil and gas sector, Ilango has held several leadership roles in different areas of the business.
May I now call upon Mr. Ilango to deliver the convention design and the theme overview.
Good morning to all. Guest of honor, Sri Ramani, keynote speaker, Ms. Apurva Mitra, President MMA, Mr. Mahalingam, Executive Director, Group Captain Vijay Kumar, MMA, members of the Management Committee, MMA, and members of Madras Management Association, faculty members, and dear students. First of all, a very warm welcome to all of you. 21 years back, MMA launched this All India Management Convention on the theme Transformation of a Manager to a Leader. Since 2002, this event has grown in size, scale, and its impact, both on the management students as well as on the practicing managers. It has evolved and grown to be one of the landmark events for the management students across the country, as well as a prestigious event in the calendar of MMA. Now, what is so unique about this convention? I can think of 3 reasons. Number 1, this is one of its kind convention that showcases untapped management potential to industrial sector, to the corporate world. Secondly, it provides an excellent platform for the institutions to benchmark itself with the best. Finally and importantly, the convention provides an opportunity to students to learn from practicing management professionals and thought leaders. Today, all of us in MMA are delighted to organize this 22nd All India Management Convention with nearly 1,000 students registered to participate and around 20,000 expected to participate online. The theme of this year's convention is Innovate for a Responsible Tomorrow. How did we choose this theme? We looked at the themes of past conventions of 21 similar conventions to identify what would be most relevant theme for the managers of tomorrow that touches the life of everyone living in this planet. Environmental conservation, social inclusion, equitable governance, known as ESG, are the 3 cornerstones of sustainable innovation. And we decided there can be no better theme than this. Now, why do we believe that exposure to ESG principles is highly relevant to managers of tomorrow? Again, there are 3 important reasons. Number 1, society has increasing expectations of the businesses on the role businesses should play in tackling some of the planet's biggest problems. As future managers, you will all be expected to contribute positively to both business as well as to society. Secondly, ESG regulations are evolving rapidly across the globe. Future managers must stay informed and ensure their organization comply with these regulations to avoid legal and reputational risk. Thirdly, companies that excel in ESG often enjoy a competitive advantage, attracting investors, customers, and top talent. Therefore, tomorrow's managers need to leverage ESG to differentiate themselves and their organization to create value in the marketplace. Now, while designing the 4 sessions, our focus was to bring a 360-degree perspective to the theme. We therefore included the panel both thought leaders and practicing managers. We invited both experienced as well as young professionals to be the panel speakers. So in this convention, if I may say so, you will get to see the perspective on ESG by a CEO of a renewable power company as well as from a CEO of an oil and gas company. You will listen to the thoughts of a professor from IIT Madras and learn the field action by a former IAS officer. You will observe ideas of a partner of a leading consulting firm and initiatives as a social impact startup. You will understand the views of a HR professional as well as of a young practicing lawyer in Madras High Court. Because this topic involves us all. Keynote address would be delivered by Ms. Apurva Mitra, partner ESG, KPMG, and KPMG is our knowledge partner for this convention. Followed by the inaugural address by Mr. K.V. Ramani, founder and chancellor of Sai University. This evening, the valedictory address would be delivered by Mr. Ravi Vishwanathan, managing director, TVS Supply Chain Solutions. There are 4 special sessions with focus on following sub-themes. Number 1 is Technovation for Sustainable Growth, Leadership for Inclusive Success, Planet First Eco-Conscious Business Strategies, Profit with Purpose, the Business of Impact. We are indeed thankful to all the eminent speakers who have joined the MMA in this endeavor today. The paper presentation competition, business plan competition, the master brain management quiz competition have all been held at MMA. Our compliments to all the participants who turned up in large numbers. Our compliments to all the winning teams. We especially appreciate all other participants who have benchmarked well with the co-participants. It gives me immense pleasure in announcing that Chanakya, the mastermind competition, has evoked overwhelming response with around 5,000 participants from all over the country. I'm aware that all of you are eagerly waiting to witness the grand finale of Chanakya, the mastermind, scheduled later this afternoon. We appreciate all the management students and the faculty members of various business schools, corporate delegates, MMA members who have joined us virtually in large numbers today. Our objective in designing the convention was to provide a peep into this vast and multi-dimensional subject. The idea is to trigger interest in you so that you can dwell deeper and update yourself. I promise the accomplished speakers will inspire you all. I am confident that you will leave this convention this evening with a new perspective on ESG. Thank you. Have a great convention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ilango, for briefly mentioning the outline of the entire convention and the various business sessions that are scheduled today. Ms. Apurva Mitra is the partner, ESG, KPMG India. May I have her AV, please?
Ms. Apurva Mitra is an associate partner with KPMG India's ESG practice. As a climate, energy and ESG specialist, she focused on developing solutions around deep decarbonization, ESG transformation and energy transition, among others. Apurva has worked extensively with the corporate sector and government on policy issues. In her previous role, she was the head for climate policy and modeling at WRI India.
May I now request Ms. Apurva Mitra to deliver the keynote address on the topic Environmental, Social and Governance ESG.
Thank you so much. Good morning, respected dignitaries, respected founder and chancellor of Sai University, Mr. K.V. Ramani, respected President MMA, Mr. Mahalingam, respected convention chairman, Mr. Elanco, and respected Captain Vijay Kumar. And thank you so much to MMA for inviting me here today. It's truly an honor. So good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be here and to get this opportunity to stand here in front of you and interact with all of you. I feel that a lot of young people today don't understand the exciting times that we're in, right? Challenging, urgent times, but exciting times. You know, Mr. Mahalingam talked about how today technology is at your fingertips, right? So you have a lot more access to information that many of us did not have when we were young. You also have smartphones. Most of us didn't have smartphones when we were in college, you know. So there is a lot of access to information. But even on the sustainability side, and Mr. Elango touched upon that, there's a lot of positive developments that have happened. And there's a lot of momentum in the market today. That's something to be very positive about. Yeah. For people like me who had been here for much longer, for several decades in the field of corporate sustainability, we realize that it's really quite a privilege to be here at this particular time. Because you have to have had been here a decade or two back to realize how far we've come in terms of corporates, governance, other stakeholders becoming more responsible, sustainable, and value-driven. So the world was very different, I would say not even a few decades back, just a decade back. You know, there's a report called the World Economic Forum Global Risk Report that comes out every year, which tracks basically the global risk perceptions amongst risk leaders, business leaders, governments, and civil society. Just a decade back, this survey pointed to the top 3 risks within global risks, essentially, where asset prices, deglobalization, oil price spikes. And today, the top 3 risks that come out from this assessment are climate action failure, extreme weather, and biodiversity, something that was unheard of a decade back. So the risk perception itself has undergone a sea change in this particular decade. 8 out of the 10 global risks pertain to environmental and social factors on their own in the assessment today. And this is why sustainability and ESG in the last few years has become the defining issue of the decade. And it's become a mainstream boardroom conversation today across companies, something that I could not have imagined when I started in my career. Only a handful of companies at that point were investing in ESG, and primarily from the disclosure and reporting side. You know, and some companies were investing in some clean energy projects because of the monetary benefits that provided. But that was it. Today we are moving beyond that. You know, I won't say that we're all the way there yet. There's still a long distance to traverse. But as a society, we now understand the issues, we acknowledge the issues, and as a global community, we're working together towards overcoming it. And that is progress. Right? And I have to say, regulation has been and continues to be a major driver. You know, Mr. Elango mentioned that in his address as well. I remember when corporate social responsibility was first introduced in India within the framework of the Companies Act in 2013. It was the first time any country had introduced a CSR mandate. So it was a breakthrough regulation. And ever since then, we have seen many positive developments happen, not just in India, but across the world. The regulatory landscape on sustainability is in a constant state of evolution, right? And companies across the world are grappling today with the range of issues that they have to handle. And they're not necessarily well equipped at the moment to handle it, because it's a fairly new phenomenon. But this is also why it's such an exciting time, because it's a fairly defining decade. This decade decides whether we are able to stick to our temperature pathways or whether we cross it, leading to irreversible impacts on our planet and our society. You know, science today demands rapid and urgent transformation for every sector of the economy if we are to stick to the temperature pathways. If we are to survive as a planet, if we are to leave our children what they rightfully deserve. Which is why regulation all over the world today is aimed at creating that change. Changing the way that we produce, changing the way that we live, the way that we communicate, the way that we function. We cannot continue to grow our economies in the same way that we've been growing in the past, with the same kind of excessive resource use, without the considerations of the impact on nature. If we want to achieve sustainability, we have to find ways to decouple economic growth from environmental degradation and resource use. So that is the need of the hour. And this means that we need to achieve material efficiency. We need to achieve energy efficiency. We need to achieve resource efficiency, the kinds that we have never achieved in the past. We need to learn to harness clean energy, to store clean energy to the extent that we've never done in the past. We need to be able to develop and scale up technologies like hydrogen, carbon capture and storage, fairly futuristic. These kind of technologies are critical to the decarbonization transition, but are not economically available today. So it's an unprecedented kind of transformation that has become necessary, and that is what science mandates. We also have to influence the behavior of the common man to be able to enable this transformation. Our lifestyles, what we consume, how we make those decisions, what we eat, how we utilize our waste, all of that becomes important. And so to enable this change, every country across the world is framing its own regulations and frameworks. Whether it's the business responsibility and sustainability reporting in India, whether it's CSRD in the EU or the European Union Green Deal, these are all forcing companies to not just look at their own operations today, but across their value chains and their supply chain partners. Because although they may not have immediate financial and operational control on these supply chain partners, they contribute to their activities. Right? When it comes to countries today, net zero commitments cover more than 90% of the world's GDP and more than 80% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. But it's not just regulation. On the voluntary side as well, there is huge momentum. Today, over 1/3 of the largest publicly traded companies have already announced net zero targets. More than 200 companies in India have also set and committed to their own net zero targets. And here, investor pressure is also a very important driver. Today, companies are being evaluated on a very diverse range of parameters, anything from worker well-being to biodiversity to climate change to human rights. Earlier, it was just about profit, right? Today, it's a range of parameters. And today, a number of different rating agencies have also mushroomed, which compare one company against the other, compare them against their peers. And that is also a very major driver. The third and also a very important driver is the fact that the demographics are changing, and so are consumer preferences. When we talk about millennials, there is a growing demand for sustainable products, for more climate-friendly alternatives among the young generation. But it could be the corporates or it could be individual consumers, but that demographics is changing. So eventually we might see a sizable greenium, or what we call a green premium, which is a price differential, evolve for green products versus conventional products. And that means that there's huge scope for innovation in this area. And hopefully sizable returns from investment for going forward for those who are looking to diversify or green their products today. For some of the sectors, like for example in textiles, you may have noticed that for a lot of the garments that you buy, there is a price differential that exists for, say, a sustainable cotton versus conventional cotton. But for a lot of sectors, that's still not existent. Like, say, for example, a lot of the building blocks of our economy, like steels, cement, fertilizers, we need to be able to build that price differential. But that's happening. And if you consider the larger geopolitical challenges, with the supply chain shocks that we witnessed during the Russia-Ukraine conflict as well, a lot of companies today are looking at building resilient supply chains that are capable of surviving these shocks. Maybe engaging and choosing the right supply chain partners that match their own ESG vision, right? Because companies today are not just accountable for the impact that they create on their own, but are also held accountable for the impact that is created across the value chain, both upstream and downstream. So this is an emerging challenge. How do you engage with your supply chain partners? And then, of course, access to finance today is also increasingly becoming dependent on the performance in ESG for companies. Also in terms of, many other parameters like employee retention. Studies have shown that millennials prefer to work for organizations that share a common vision, or resonate with their values when it comes to sustainability. So there's a lot to gain from having a solid foundation in ESG, having a solid ESG vision, and imbibing that, very cohesive way within the organization. But achieving our sustainability goals, I think it's much easier said than done. And I'll tell you why. Because we have to be able to contend with multiple developmental, imperatives as a country. Whether it's energy security, whether it's economic growth, food and water security, biodiversity, poverty. These are all contending developmental imperatives, and we have a finite amount of resources and finance to be able to meet these goals. So how do you choose what is more important? How do you grow your economy while ensuring environmental and social sustainability? I think that is the bigger question. For example, how do we achieve our ambitious clean energy targets without it leading to a disproportionate impact on our coal communities? And a large part of our population and a lot of livelihoods are dependent on coal. So how do we ensure that this transition is just, that it doesn't disproportionately impact certain sections of society, right? Or for example, how do we transition to electric vehicles without negatively impacting our automobile value chains? The automobile sector is a big employer in India today. And as we move from conventional vehicles to electric vehicles, the moving parts in electric vehicles are much lower, which means the entire value chain is much smaller, which means a lot of the conventional jobs in the automobile sector, whether it's in the components or whether it's in the workshops, all of that will get impacted. But how do we do that in a way that we're taking everyone along? What do you prioritize when it comes to land, right? That is a finite resource. Do we invest in land for agriculture? Or do we invest in, for example, the large-scale solar and wind installations that need a lot of land? Or do we try and accommodate our growing population or growing urbanization? These are all contending challenges. How do we ensure manufacturing keeps pace with our technology ambitions? This is also a very important challenge. We've seen huge and very bold targets in clean energy, especially in solar, and we've seen a huge growth spurt in the last couple of decades. But a lot of this is hinged on exports. A lot of this is built on exports. So how do we ensure that that's not the story for every technology or every upcoming technology, say batteries or say hydrogen, right? So that's also a very important challenge to find a balance with. So finding that balance is very important, so that you're going down a path that is sustainable holistically and not just across a couple of parameters, right? But across economy, society, and nature. And that is, I think, the biggest challenge that we have today. And one of the solutions here is digitization and technology. Today, companies across the world are building their data analytics capacities through machine learning, through data mining, what we call big data. You may have heard this phrase, data is the new gold, which is true in today's scenario. And digital has a very big role to play here. A growing number of manufacturing industries today are deploying artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things to be able to optimize their processes, enhance energy efficiency. Even in the agriculture sector, remote sensing technology and AI are proving to be critical enablers. They're providing timely and actionable inputs to farmers as well as agri-businesses. For example, farmers today are using AI for precision agriculture, for telling them exactly the amount of inputs they need to be able to increase their yield but also reduce costs. And that also leads to sustainability. Today, we are already collecting a lot of real-time data in the agriculture side using drones. And these are all innovations, right? And these are all innovations that are making the world more sustainable. On the industry side, a host of startups have mushroomed that focus on providing automation, IoT, AI, machine learning-based technologies or sensor-based systems that help you capture data real time, optimize your processes, your utilities, reduce downtime through predictive maintenance. All of this enhances performance. The concept of digital twins is emerging today, which is real-time visual representation of your operations or your assets. And all of this is becoming very important because operations today are becoming more and more complex and data-driven. It's also finding application in the building management side. As you know, smart building management systems can really help you optimize your ambient air conditions. Ensure that you're using just the right amount of electricity or energy that you need within your buildings. And it can also help you manage your facilities remotely. That also gives you a certain amount of power. So there are huge innovations happening today. And that is the need of the day because that is what science demands. Science demands transformation if we are to stick to the right temperature pathways that help us avoid a lot of the devastating impacts of, say, climate change. And if we don't have that, it will have irreversible impacts on nature and society, especially on more of the vulnerable sections of society across the world. So with this, I'll end my talk here, but I just want to summarize and say, as young people today, I hope that you learn from our experience over this past decade in carving a more sustainable path for the future. And like I said, these are defining times, which means you today have the unique opportunity to innovate, create an impact, and make a significant contribution to the world as visionaries and decision makers of the future. So thank you all, and all the best to all of you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Apurva Mitra. So many takeaways there. You talked about the geopolitical challenges, the supply chain resilience. You also talked about the modern technology in agriculture that leads to sustainability. So thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, now time for the release of business mandate. MMA comes out with an eagerly awaited news magazine amongst the management fraternity called the Business Mandate every month, edited by Group Captain R. Vijay Kumar, Executive Director, MMA. May I now invite Group Captain Vijay Kumar to announce the release of the special issue, please. May I have the AV of Group Captain Vijay Kumar.
Group Captain R. Vijay Kumar retired, VSM, is the Executive Director of the Madras Management Association. He was awarded the Vishisht Seva Medal by the President of India for distinguished service of very high order. Under his dynamic leadership, MMA won AIMA's Best Management Association in India award for 14 times in a row, including for the year 2022-23.
Thank you, Venkat. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. MMA comes out with an eagerly awaited news magazine, Business Mandate, which has leadership of over 90,000 who feature among the leading business groups in South India and also made up of dynamic medium-scale companies as well as reputed professionals from all walks of industry. Other than MMA members, Business Mandate is circulated to notable opinion makers, industry leaders, senior government officials, multinational group, management students, and host of distinguished personalities. I am indeed privileged to be associated with Business Mandate as its editor for the last 16 years, again in a row. MMA adapted to changing situation with a number of unique online initiatives, including the state-of-the-art digital magazine, Business Mandate, with embedded videos, much more. The digital magazine MMA has a number of unique features. On the occasion of MMA Management Student Convention 2023, we have brought out a very special issue of the magazine consisting of interesting articles for the benefit of our readers. And there's a scan code given in your program sheet. You can scan the moment it's released, you can read the business mandate, what is there. May I now request your attention to the screen to know more about it, please, because all and others can scan and read, share, and enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And all the students here, I talked to you about that schedule, which is so important, which is kept in your delegate kit. At the bottom left, you will find a QR scanner. Just scan it and you'll be able to read the latest edition of Business Mandate today. Mr. K.V. Ramani is the founder and Chancellor Sai University. You may have his AV, please.
Mr. K.V. Ramani, a trailblazer in India's information technology sector and the founder and chancellor of Sai University. With an illustrious career, he co-founded NASSCOM, the National Association of Software and Service Companies, propelling India's IT industry onto the global stage. Currently serving as the chairman and managing director of Digital Holdings Private Limited, Mr. Ramani also founded and manages the Shirdi Sai Trust. He has been a key figure in organizations like TIE and Associo, contributing significantly to India's landscape. Mr. Ramani's unwavering commitment now focuses on establishing a world-class interdisciplinary university in India. A visionary leader, he continues to shape the future of higher education in the country.
What a delight having you with us this morning, sir. May I now invite you to deliver the inaugural address, please.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, members of Madras Management Association, committee members, organizing committee members, members of media, my dear students present here in the auditorium, and I believe several thousand present online. I wish you all a very good morning. It gives me great honor to deliver this inaugural address for Madras Management Association, one of the finest institutions of this country and also one of the best management associations in India. And today I've been invited to talk on a very important topic: Innovate for a responsible tomorrow. Whoever coined this topic for today's talk or the theme for this convention, I must compliment themselves for MMA and its committee members, because this topic can be taken as just a simple 3 key words. But if you take and analyze each of these key words, the depth and breadth to which it can explain, it can be of enormous significance. Just before I talk, I want to especially address the young student population with the management background. Well, I'm sure that all of you have learned in your management education that management is all about managing people, managing materials, managing money, and managing time. These are the 4 dimensions of management that I've been taught in my early years, and I think that hasn't changed. But the whole paradigm of management has changed. I want to initiate this talk with this point to say that management is no longer confined to managing these 4 dimensions of people, material, money, and time. It's gone beyond all of that. We have a new frontier, the space. You're going to be managing space. You're going to be managing emerging new frontiers. So, as young managers who are leaders of tomorrow, I believe that you have challenges in innovating for a responsible tomorrow. Let me remind to keep myself at time limit. So, the significance of these three key words are very important. Number one, innovate. Innovation by itself has several connotations. Because without innovation, we'll be at a standstill. We'll be doing today the same task tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after. As India's largest population of youth, all of you belong to the 450 million next generation Indians, who are the world's largest population. And let me remind you, the youth population of India today is larger than the entire population of the United States of America. So you are all going to be the opinion leaders. You're all going to be the thought leaders. You're going to be the change makers of tomorrow. So I want to address these points to you because our generation is leaving behind and your generation is taking over. And what you have to take over and the responsibility that you carry is what I'm going to talk about. So innovation by itself means moving forward, progress. Without innovation, there'll be no change. And second, how do you define responsibility? And how do you define tomorrow? We're talking about this in the context of sustainability. In the context of sustainability, responsibility is that we leave the world a better place than when we arrived on it. That'll be a very simple definition in my view. That all of us here work toward making our planet better place when we exit than when we arrived. That means in our lifetime, we contribute to making this planet better in every sense in a sustainable way. And of course, tomorrow can be seen as literally tomorrow, could be seen as the near future, could be seen as the next 5 years, next 10 years, next 20 years, next gen of 25 years, or the next century. But the key amongst all of this is the underlying message that how do we innovate to really keep this planet sustainable? That is the underlying message. How do we keep this innovation to make this planet a better place for the future generation to come? And when you look at this thought process, innovation becomes critical as it removes obstacles for degeneration. Innovation essentially means doing things better, faster, cheaper. And it means also that it is something to see that your natural resources are utilized less, or you utilize the natural resources more efficiently. Because we all know that natural resources are finite. If we adopt the concept of net zero, I don't know how many of you know the concept of net zero, that's a fundamental concept of sustainability. that we use as much natural resources as we can and reproduce as much as we can to see that the net is zero. In Sai University, which I founded now, and it's in third year of its operation, the entire 103-acre campus has been declared as net zero. That is to say that we will not consume natural resources, or we'll at least reproduce or leave behind natural resources equal to or more than what we consume. The entire campus is solar powered. The entire campus has solid and liquid waste management systems to see that sustainability of the campus is defined as a green campus. Now, if each one of us were to undertake this responsibility of sustainability, there would be no problem at all. But unfortunately, sustainability is not taken the seriousness that it deserves. Globally, governments do not practice sustainability, they preach sustainability. Global corporates do not practice sustainability. Of course, they preach sustainability. And often, sustainability is pushed to tomorrow than to today. I would say that sustainability is such an important goal that we need to have made this conference innovation in the context of responsible today. Let us look at a business scenario. In our business scenario, we have seen in the mid-80s when we started IT industry in this country, and I happen to be one of the co-founders of NASSCOM. In our visits to market software to the United States, we are often asked the question, where is software in India? I'm talking about mid-80s, I'm sure many of you were not born yet. We're often asked the question, we have only known about saints and cows on the streets of India, where is software in India? And in fact, one client famously asked me, I'm a little confused, have you come here to buy software or sell software? Because India is not known for software. And today, if you see, the entire corporate world around is looking to India as the technology leader in IT. Many of you have come late today, I'm sure because you're newcomers to this YMR, which is the epicenter of IT in Chennai. But look at this industry. In mid-80s, we'd asked a question, is it relevant to bring in computers to India because it will create unemployment? We already have a massive population. We have challenges of providing jobs to each one, and computers will replace human beings. On the other hand, if you see, computers generated more jobs than any other industry. Computers generated the largest number of jobs in the formal sector in India today. But this has been at a cost of sustainability. Every computer that you use is using energy, and behind it is a source of energy which is creating damage to the environment. But this sector has innovated to ensure that there is a green planet and innovation is taking place to make the planet greener. But if you take every other sector, employment in every other sector becomes key. So there's a trade-off between business and sustainability. There's a trade-off between employment and sustainability. If a large corporation wants to move its phone manufacturing plant to India, it's welcome on the ground that is going to create lakhs of new jobs or tens of thousands of new jobs. It's an economic development. As Ms. Mitra pointed out, there is an economic development as an indicator. But the counter to it is causing enormous damage to the planet. The electronic waste, the e-waste that we produce in manufacturing electronic devices is causing a lot of harm to the planet. So we need to innovate to make sure that our processes are better and we implement net zero concepts in our manufacturing processes at every stage to see that we obtain the objective of employment generation without compromising on sustainability goals. We take another example. In our endeavor to conquer outer space, we've gone around launching satellites and spaceships, and we started leaving debris outside planet and space. There's so much debris around. We start looking at sky around now and then to see whether there is a space debris which is going to fall anywhere near our city or near home. So we started polluting outer space. It's not only sustainability of this planet, but goes to sustainability of outer space. There's a trade-off between technology and science and sustainability. And where do we reach a balance between wanting to reach for outer space, reaching out to the other planets, and of course, leaving the debris and keeping the space clean. So these are challenges for which mankind has not found a solution. We're talking about it, we become aware of it, but we have not found a solution. Our generation has created an awareness for sustainability. Your generation has to take it forward to say you have a responsibility to see that this planet is not destroyed, that the e-waste or the waste of any kind, whether it's the trees or plants or wind, or any of the natural resources of the planet are not destroying the planet in your lifetime, that you leave the place to be a better place than you arrived on the scene. In my view, that's a fundamental definition that all of you carry as a responsibility. And coming back to the main innovation, unless we innovate, none of this is going to be achieved. Innovation is mother of success. Unless we innovate, there will be no business tomorrow. Unless we innovate, we will not be having mobile phones in our hands today. Unless we innovate, we will not have the thousands of people who are watching this conference live from all over the country and maybe abroad. So this innovation comes again at a cost. So do you create an innovative atmosphere which is damaging to the planet, or do we create innovative atmosphere which is making sure that we leave a sustainable planet? So sustainability has to be a part of every new project initiative that we take up. which is not done today. Sustainability evaluation is done for very large projects, of course, large projects of the kind that we have thermal plants or nuclear plants and so on. But it is not done for every small scale project. In our minds, innovation is the key mantra to create sustainability, sustainable environment, and a sustainable planet. And I would say, unless you innovate, we will not be able to progress. In addition to innovation, I will add a key mantra to the students of management: entrepreneurship. Innovation by itself does not achieve any progress, because innovation could be delta improvements over what is existing, or it could be earth-shaking new discoveries. But entrepreneurs bring innovation to the marketplace, to the benefit of individuals, to the benefit of corporates, to the benefit of societies. So entrepreneurship combined with innovation is the key to progress. And that innovation is going to be the future of not tomorrow, but the future of mankind, future of humankind, to be gender neutral. I would say, to the extent of saying, we have a responsibility for sustainability. We have a responsibility for leaving the planet as a better place than when we arrived. And we can do that only with innovation and entrepreneurship. And that innovation is going to make the careers for all of you. Your careers will be all on innovation and entrepreneurship. So I will end my talk with one simple line, tagline: innovate for tomorrow or perish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Once again, there were a lot of takeaways out there. We talked about how we can leave this earth as a better place than we arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite Mr. Apurv Bhandari, who is founder of the Sankalp Taru Foundation, to join the dignitaries on the dais to present a memento and honor the dignitaries for this day. Sankalp Taru Foundation is also issuing mementos, which are called the green mementos, and give them a big round of applause. And a big round of applause, may I request Mr. Mahalingam to present a memento to Mr. K.V. Ramani and Ms. Apurva Mitra. May I request Mr. Ilango to join him, presenting the memento also. Ladies and gentlemen, they deserve a big round of applause for making it this morning, despite all the traffic, despite all the hindrances that we had. So thank you, Mr. Ramani, for talking to us about how we have to redefine innovation, how we have to redefine responsibility, and how we have to redefine tomorrow in the context of sustainability. Thank you once again. May I now request Group Captain Vijay Kumar to deliver the formal vote of thanks for this session.
Thank you, Venkat. What a phenomenal start for the thing, though I know many of you got stuck in the traffic. When you grow, when the infrastructure grows, when metro rail comes, you will enjoy it, but you have to go through that. It's indeed my privilege to deliver the formal vote of thanks. First, Mr. K.V. Ramani, founder chancellor of Sai University, my mentor, well-wisher. I keep interacting with him in some of the areas where we work together. Sir, we are indeed blessed to have you with us this morning as a chief guest, and your insightful address will set the tone for entire proceedings to come. Apurva Mitra, what to say about her partner ESG KPMG? I know how many of you know she got up in the morning at 1 o'clock to reach the airport at Calcutta, and she was here at 7 o'clock in the morning. And she'll come to you address young students. That shows your inspiration, madam. Really, really appreciate all the trouble what you have taken to travel all the way from Calcutta to be with us this morning. And President MMA and convention chairman, managing committee members who support us in a big way, sponsors and academic partners, we keep seeing them. Without the sponsorship, I don't think we could have done such a huge convention with all the facilities for our management students. Viewers watching it live, we have at the moment more 6,100 people are watching it on live. And thank you as usual. If you have any questions, keep sending it to the numbers which is flashed on the screen. Large number of management students. Thank you. We apologize for many students where we have to really tell them not to accommodate because the accommodation area is only around 900. That's why we all watch it live and think. And our media partner into Business Line, Batmaja for Innovation and CEO of IT Research Park, all the support. Team MMA, and I think without them, I don't think we would have achieved all the results what we are achieving today or otherwise, and also the winning the awards and many more. And Group Captain Venkat for ably managing the time and MC. And Tayub, who designed the business mandate, which you saw, it's coming month after month. And webcast partner, Live ABC, and Stage 3, who made all these arrangements here. Thank you so much. And it's indeed once again a pleasure to have you with us this morning in our inaugural session.